Hello everyone, I'm Pankaj Rai. I develop Android applications in Verizon, and today I'm here to talk about how Firebase is useful for building enterprise applications. So before I proceed towards Firebase, the first and foremost thing is that what are the requirements of enterprise applications? So these are three core things that we should care about when we develop enterprise applications: security, scalability, and stability. Security is really important for us because we do not want our data, our user data to get leaked out. So it is really important. But adding security for the applications, for the services is not that straightforward. Scalability is another such factor for the enterprise applications because today you may have one user, 100 users, and tomorrow if suddenly it switches to a million or a billion user, you still want your websites or your applications to work as it is. Stability altogether, it's during the development you care about it, you know how well it is working. But adding these three core components are not so straightforward because this is going to increase the cost of development, maintenance, and eventually it's going to be a costly app development. So how about using something which already provide these three things to us, some third party services or tools? And we do have certain services like Firebase. So Firebase is a Google platform to build a great quality app in short span of time. It provides us the services for Android, iOS, and web. And all these services are highly scalable, they are secure, and they are highly stable also. And today we are going to see few of the services. Let me talk about remote config first. Remote config is one of the very widely used service of Firebase. And what it does, let's see that. So think of the scenario where you want to change the theme of your application. Now, because we are talking about the enterprise application, then we are talking about those users who may or may not update app so frequently. You may have a very large user base. So now when you're trying to update the app of theme of the application, and now it's a case like you're updating, you're pushing app to the Play Store, but user may or may not update the app at the right time. So your intent of updating the theme, you may not achieve it. So how about you can get this control from your side that you can change the theme of your applications without pushing app to the Play Store once again, or enabling or disabling certain features without pushing app to the Play Store once again, or even to the App Store for iOS. So anything which depends on a key value pair, you can control through remote config. Another one is A/B testing. Now we know about A/B testing. A/B testing is really important for us as we want to know that which version of a particular look or features, even the ML models, are working well for the users. And based on that, we can derive on a particular decision that yes, we could go ahead with this particular design or ML models or anything for which we are doing A/B testing. Now again, A/B testing depends on a key value pair, remote config, and Google Analytics. So if you are using remote config, you are not only controlling the app appearance and behavior, but it is also helping you do an A/B testing. And this is how you could use a remote config in your Android applications. So this is one of the library which I built called Firebase. Using this called Firebase, you can use the services by just writing single line of code. If you use the normal SDK, then there is an initialization process, setting up the listeners. But with this library, everything is sorted down to a single line of code. And let me talk about this remote config. So this is how you initialize it. Remote config, the best part here is that it maintains one local copy and one at server. And if you change anything to the server, it just override the local copy. So that's what you do with the init remote config. During init remote config, you initialize the local value. And this is really important for us because if your users are installing the applications and when they open the app, if you're not connected to internet, you do not want to give them an experience that yes, you need to be connected to internet so that it could load the content. Why not to give them a content which is preloaded? And that's where remote config helps actually. So this was about remote config, and again, it is available for Android, iOS, and web. So you could even change your website themes, the content of a theme, and any sort of things which depends on a key value. You can completely control using remote config. And the service is cloud storage. Now, the reason why do I'm talking about, I've taken this service here is because of this stats. Now, one of the stats is that most of the internet traffic comes from mobile, and very few traffic comes from desktop or laptops or any other platform. So, when we are talking about mobile applications, then how about getting a service which is really important for us in terms of speed and scalability? And cloud storage is meant for that. It's it's very fast and it's reliable. The key capability of this is robust operations, strong security, and high scalability. Now, think of the case where you are trying to upload certain things or download multimedia, say an image file or a video file, and suddenly at 90% you lose the internet connectivity. And especially when if you are trying to develop for those country application where we do not have a very high bandwidth, then it's the most often case there that they get a frequent internet disconnect. So we should take care of those set of users also. So robust operation is like if you lose internet during 90% of the download or upload, you do not bother much about it because Cloud Firestore understands that till 90% the things are done. It's just 10% which is remaining, and it'll start from the 90% rather than again going back to 0%. Security, because we are talking about enterprise application, then security is really a big concern. It's either privacy of the users or their data. So how about adding security again just for this multimedia? You might be having authentication. It could be Google or Facebook or any sort of authentication. But how about adding security again just on cloud storage? So Firebase provides you the security rules. Through the security rules, you can add the security rules again for the cloud storage, which says that which set of users can access what kind of content. It's not like any set of user who's authenticated can access everything on the cloud storage. You can define a constraint there. You might have used the Google Photos. So in Google Photos, you either have one photo or a million photo. It just automatically uploads the content and somehow magically it grows. And same sort of functionality you get with the cloud storage also. Today, if you are having say 20 or 30 multimedia, tomorrow suddenly users are uploading 20 or 30 100 multimedia like images or videos. You actually do not need to care about it because Firebase understands when to grow or shrink based on the requirement. And this is to summarize that cloud storage supports all sort of multimedia which you can upload there. Either it's a PDF, PNG files, JPEG, or any sort of things. Next is about uh, Cloud Firestore. So one shortage that we have in Cloud Firestore is that it doesn't support multimedia. Now, when it doesn't support multimedia, then we do need some sort of services which could do this work for Cloud Firestore also. So what you can do is that you can upload the multimedia layers, like images to the cloud storage, and the moment you upload it to the cloud storage, you get a URL, you get a download URL, and then you could write this download URL to the Cloud Firestore, and then while retrieving it, you can again download it from the cloud storage. The best among all, which I have extensively used, is the Firebase extension. Firebase extension is a great to have it. Say that you are uploading images. You are uploading image to the cloud storage, and you want to reduce the size of it. You want to create a thumbnail of it. You want to create a circular image out of it. All those things, Firebase extensions or even your custom written cloud functions can do for you. User just need to upload their images on the cloud storage. You'll run a cloud functions there which will do all sort of work for you, reducing downscaling the image size, converting to another format, or changing the shape of it. Everything's possible there. Best part is that it is available for Android, iOS, and web. So you could build your own website, and you could download the PNGs or any of the other formats right from the cloud storage. Now, as I was talking about Cloud Firestore, so Cloud Firestore is one of the service by Firebase. Now, it's a flexible and a highly scalable database, which is available for Android and web, also Android, iOS, and even web. And we'll talk a bit about Cloud Firestore. So we have talked about cloud storage. Cloud storage is only for multimedia, nothing beyond multimedia. It cannot understand other formats like a raw data, normal raw data. If you want to upload it, then it's normal text file, you upload the text file. But why to do all those things? You already have a database for it. And one of the stats by Google says that we have around 450 million plus internet user on smartphone. And when we have such a huge user base on smartphone, then it is our responsibility also to take care of this set of users. If we have a very fast and reliable database, then we could provide them a good seamless experience while using either website or even mobile applications. But for that, we need a very good database. Image is not a great part for any website or even a mobile application. It's a very small part. But raw data consumes most of the website or even mobile applications. And the best part is that Cloud Firestore is not only fast, it is flexible, it gives you the real time updates, it offers offline support out of the capability and designed to scale. With flexibility, what do I mean is that, say that if you have used real time database of Firebase before, then you might know that the real time database is just a huge single JSON object. And if you want to add more content to it, you just increase the hierarchies. So it's good, it's good, it's very fast, but for the large scale application, it's not that flexible. But when it comes to the Cloud Firestore, the structure is completely different here. It's purely based on collection and document, and this makes it well organized. So for that, now if you want to increase the hierarchy of it, you do not need to increase the, like, you need not have to add the child of a JSON object. Rather, you could add a collection to a document again have a sub collection. That sub collection again could have any number of documents. Real time update is the heart of any real time database. So real time update is like, you'll not ask for the update over and over, like no pull to refresh, no exit from the app, then again come back to the app to see the updates, no button to fetch the update once again. Rather, whenever any content is available, you see the data. Offline support is now for anyone who has developed this Android applications which only deals with data, they might know that it's an often requirement that we need to support offline capability also. Offline capability which Cloud Firestore offers allows you to read data, write data, update data, delete it. So you could do all sort of operations which you could do when you're connected to internet. And as soon as your internet is available once again, it will push all those things back to the Cloud Firestore. And designed to scale. So it's one of the database which is highly scalable. Like for example, today again say that you are building a new applications and you might have just a 1000 user, 100 users, and tomorrow by any chance it got highly scaled up and you got a million users. So automatically Firebase will scale up the database for you because you are getting more number of hits. It understands that it requires more uh, bandwidth consumption and all sort of server configuration, and it will automatically scale up for you. And then suddenly after next day this number of users comes down, then to save the cost it will automatically downscale also. So upscaling and downscaling is done automatically on your behalf. And these are the regions that we have, because we are talking about the database. So this database has to be hosted somewhere. So we have this many data centers, and this is where we host our data. In India, we have Mumbai. So if you are building an application for the local community, for the Indian community, and you want to store the Indian users' data in India itself, then you could store it in Mumbai data center. We have two kinds of data centers here. Now, one is regional data center, and another one is multi-regional data centers. The multi-regional data center is, as soon as you upload your data, you write anything, it gets replicated on other data centers also. So in case of any catastrophic event or server goes down, that data center is not working, you still have your data because the same replicated data is maintained on multiple data centers. But when it comes for the regional data centers, then it's just a single data center where you upload all sort of data. So if anything goes wrong with the data centers, if it goes down, then there is a greater chance that you may lose your data also, provided you are not exporting manually. So again, it depends on your use case that what sort of things you want. Either you want multi-regional data center or the regional data centers. In case of regional data center, it's quite cheaper than the multi-regional data center because it's on a single data center. Multi-regional is a bit costly because it is maintained on multiple data centers. And this is where I was saying that Firestore is flexible. Now you could see the restaurant here is a collection. It's a name of a collection, and this collection could store any number of documents. There's no such restriction on the number of document in a single collection. Now, in case you want to increase the hierarchy of it, that this particular document should also have something, and this document could be parent of it, then you could add another collection, and that collection could store another set of documents. So by this way, you organize your data very much properly there, that not only from the app, rather from the console also, you see a well formatted data. And this is again useful for querying it. Now, Firestore is having much more querying capability than the real-time database which Firebase offers. And if you are using, again, the Code Firebase, then as I said, that Code Firebase, the whole objective I built that library is to reduce everything to a single line of code. So if you're using that library, so this is what you need to write. Just firestore.get from document, specify the document ID, and you get the data as a live data. That's it. If you want to set up the real-time listeners, just pass it as a true variable. That's it. And this is how you could read from the database. And same is true for writing also. It's a single line of code for reading and writing. Okay, now we have some sort of restriction also. It's not completely free. It's not something like you could use it as your wish. There is certain limitations also for this. The limitation states is for every document, you could only have a 20K indexed elements. With 20K indexed element, what do I mean is that say you have a key value pair, and all document is storing values as a key value pair. In short, it's a JSON, but the way it looks like in the console is like a key value pair. So each key value pair is counted as a single index. Also, if you are having an array also, array of 10 elements, then those are counted as 10 individual indexed elements. Say you have a name as a field and address as one more field. Address is an array type. So it's not like a just two indexed element, rather it's more than two then. Another set of restriction on the database itself is 10,000 writes per second. So you cannot go beyond 10,000 writes per database. And best part is that it supports 1 million concurrent connection to Cloud Firestore. So your user will never feel as if page is loading or they are unable to connect to the server. It offers 1 million concurrent connection. A restriction among the collection and document is that every collection should have a unique ID. And same is true for the document also. Document should have a unique ID based on collection. So different collection could have the same document ID, but inside a collection, it should have different IDs. And collection cannot store collection. It's like an odd even pair where it should be collection should store document, then document can again store collection can again store documents. But it cannot be case like collection storing another collection or a document storing another document. That's not possible. Okay, now let's talk about the performance. Performance is important for us. So we have talked about the Firestore. Firestore is important for us for database, for raw data. Then we talked about the storage, cloud storage, because when we build multimedia application, like even for websites, normal websites or mobile applications, we need support for multimedia also, like images or the videos. For that, we have cloud storage. And we've talked about remote config. Remote config is anything, even theme of your applications or features or A/B testing or any sort of things which you want to do, which depends on a key value pair. You could use remote config. So these are great services to have it. But how do you monitor the performance of your application? We have added all those things. We have added the services. Now we want to see how app is performing. For that, we have Firebase performance monitoring. It's a straightforward SDK for Android, iOS. So what you could do is that just add the SDK and it automatically starts tracing the user behaviors there, gain the insights about how user is using it, and even you could add a custom monitoring there. Now the traces which it automatically traces is like the native applications traces. We'll talk about this later. Gain insight. Now insight is important for us because this gives us information that our user is coming from which country, they are in, on which OS level. And monitoring is like if your use case doesn't fulfill with what Firebase is offering with the automatic tracing and insights, then you could add your own custom monitoring also. Now let's see about the traces. By default, it gives you this four tracing capabilities. CPU utilization. So how much CPU and the system time that app is using, it gives you this information. And this is important for us because if app is consuming lots of CPU consumptions there, then it's an often case that this app is going to consume a lot of battery. Same is true with the memory also. It gives you the information about what is the maximum heap memory allocated for the application and how much memory the app is consuming. It's a very normal case that if app is consuming more than the heap memory, then there's something wrong going on there. Either app could run out of memory or system could kill another processes for saving memories. So you should always take care of these things, that app should not cross the heap memory. Individual information is like when you are doing a network hit. So it gives you information that for each network hit, what was the request payload size, what was the response payload size, whether the call was successful or not, and or it just got lost. So it gives you this all sort of information. And the best of all is the device attributes, because based on this you could add filters. These filters are important for us because if we add these filters, we could target particular section of the user. Like if you want to see the CPU memory consumption or network information all for the users who are in India or in US, we could just set a filter based on country because we are getting the device attributes. And same is true for the mobile versions also. That app may not be working in few version of Android OS, but may be working so great on another set of OS. So we could filter out and then figure it out at what's going wrong there. So these are the information that you could get with the Firebase performance monitoring without writing a single line of code. Just add the SDK and that's it. At the end, I would like to say that Firebase is truly a all-in-one platform where we have lots of services. We have services for machine learning, we have for crashlytics, monitoring, then user audiences, like for predictions. So we have lots of services which is useful for all three platforms. And if you feel that there are few other services which is not working so well, or you think that this service is missing some key features,